The whistle blew like a gunshot in the humid Alabama night, and my brother's fist connected with my jaw before I even saw it coming. Crack. The world tilting sideways on the cracked asphalt court behind our dorm. Faggot. He spat. His voice a venomous whisper that cut deeper than the punch. Eyes wild with the kind of rage that only family can unleash. I tasted blood and betrayal, staring up at Ben from the ground, wondering if the twin who'd shared my womb would ever see me as more than his dirty secret. That was the night everything shattered. But it started months earlier, back when the air in Tuscaloosa still carried the sweet rot of magnolia blossoms and the promise of fall semester at the University of Alabama. We were the Hale twins, Ben and Alex, 18 years old and inseparable since the day Mom pushed us out into this world. Two halves of a whole, or so everyone thought. Ben was the golden boy. 6'2", broad-shouldered, with that effortless grin that made girls swoon and coaches nod approvingly. He was the star point guard on the Crimson Tide basketball team, the one they built plays around, the straight-arrow kid from the Bible Belt who'd never once questioned the script life handed him. Me? I was the shadow version. Same face, same build, but with a softness in my eyes that whispered questions the town of Mobile never wanted answered. I walked on with the team, mostly to stay close to him, but I was the benchwarmer they tolerated, the sensitive one who quoted poetry in the locker room and volunteered at the campus LGBTQ center. Our first week on campus, the team hazing ritual set the tone. It was after a brutal pickup game in the Coleman Coliseum Auxiliary Gym, sweat soaking our jerseys, the echo of sneakers squeaking like accusations. Coach Harlan, a grizzled ex-pro with a mustache that looked like it was glued on with chewing tobacco, clapped Ben on the back as we filed into the showers. "Hale's got ice in his veins," he boomed, loud enough for the whole team to hear. "That crossover? Pure magic. You're carrying us this season, son." Ben laughed it off, towel slung low on his hips, water beating on his chest like he was some Greek god sculpted for ESPN highlights. The guys, big, bruising forwards like Jax and Trey, all southern drawls and slap on the back camaraderie, crowded around him, slapping high fives, chanting his name like it was a prayer. I lingered at the edge, rinsing off under a spray that was too cold, pretending not to notice how their eyes slid past me. Then Jax, the team's enforcer with tattoos snaking up his arms like barbed wire, turned and fixed me with that lazy smirk. "What about you, Alex? You gonna guard your brother or just hold his pom-poms?" Laughter rippled through the steam, harsh and echoing off the tiles. Ben shot me a glance, half warning, half apology, but he didn't say a word. He never did. Not then. I forced a chuckle, the kind that tasted like ash, and muttered, "Nah. I'll leave the show to the star." They let it drop, but the label stuck. Ben the hero, me the weak link. The gay twin. Even though no one knew for sure, not yet. I'd buried that part of me deep, under layers of team spirit and twin loyalty, terrified that coming out would fracture the only bond that felt unbreakable. Life off the court wasn't much kinder. We shared a cramped dorm room in Presidential Hall, posters of Michael Jordan and Bear Bryant taped crookedly on the cinderblock walls. Our twin beds pushed together like an afterthought of childhood. Nights were for whispering secrets under the hum of the AC unit. Ben venting about scout calls from NBA agents. Me dodging questions about why I spent weekends at the queer poetry slams downtown instead of frat parties. "You're too soft for this world, Alex," he'd say sometimes, ruffling my hair like I was still 10, his touch lingering just a second too long. I'd laugh it off, but it stung. That word soft. It was code for everything they whispered in the halls. Weak, effeminate, not one of us. The romance crept in like humidity through a cracked window, unexpected and all-consuming. His name was Riley, a transfer from UCLA, tall and lean, with freckles across his nose like scattered stars and green eyes that saw right through the bullshit. He wasn't on the team. He was a film major, always lugging a camera around campus, capturing the raw edges of Southern life. The rusted pickup trucks on the quad, the drag queens hustling tips outside the bars on University Boulevard. We met at the LGBTQ Center's welcome mixer, a sweaty basement affair with rainbow flags drooping from the ceiling and cheap punch that tasted like regret. I was manning the sign-up table, handing out zines on safe sex and coming out stories, When he wandered in, camera slung over his shoulder, looking lost but curious. "Hey, you the welcoming committee?" he asked, his California lilt cutting through the twang of the room like a cool breeze. Up close, he smelled like ocean salt and fresh laundry, a world away from the Axe body spray fog of the dorms. I grinned, nerves buzzing. Guilty. Alex Hale. First year, reluctant activist. Riley Kane. Third year, eternal voyeur. He shook my hand, his grip firm but gentle, and something in me unlocked. A door I'd nailed shut years ago. We talked for hours that night, perched on folding chairs amid the chaos of icebreakers and bad karaoke. He told me about growing up in Santa Monica, surfing at dawn and coming out at 15 to parents who baked him a pride cake. I confessed fragments. The church youth group back home that called me an abomination, the way Ben shielded me from Dad's belt but never from his own doubts. By the time the lights flickered on, signaling closing, Riley's knee was brushing mine, and I didn't pull away. Our first date was a picnic on the Black Warrior River, the water lazy and brown under a sky bruised with sunset. He spread out a blanket filched from his roommate's laundry, unpacked falafel wraps and craft IPAs, exotic contraband in Beerbelt, Alabama. We lay there, feet tangled. As he filmed me skipping stones, the cameras were a soft underscore to his laughter. "You're photogenic, you know that?" he murmured, zooming in on my face. "Like you've got stories etched in your skin." I blushed, the heat rising faster than the river mist. "Most of them aren't pretty. Then tell me one." His voice was low, inviting, and as the fireflies blinked on like hesitant stars, I did. I told him about Ben, our twin telepathy, the way we'd switch places in high school to ace tests or dodge bullies, how he'd punch a guy for calling me a slur but then echo it in private like it was a joke we both had to swallow. Riley listened without interrupting, his hand finding mine in the grass, thumb tracing circles that sent sparks up my arm. When I finished, he pulled me close, our lips meeting soft and tentative, tasting of hummus and hope. It was my first real kiss, the kind that rewires your soul, and in that moment, with the river murmuring approval, I thought maybe I could be whole. But secrets have a way of festering in the heat. Ben noticed the change in me first, the glow I couldn't hide, the way I dodged team dinners to meet Riley at the indie coffee shop on Hackberry Lane. "Who's the dude?" he asked one night, sprawled on his bed scrolling through Instagram, the blue light carving shadows on his face. "Just a friend," I lied, heart hammering as I shoved my phone under the pillow. Riley had just texted a selfie from his dorm, shirtless and smirking, caption "Miss you already." Ben's eyes narrowed, that twin intuition flaring. "Friend my ass, you're smiling like an idiot. Spill." I hesitated, the words tangling in my throat. Coming out to Ben felt like handing him a grenade. Our bond was the one safe space, and this could blow it sky high. But Riley's voice echoed in my head. "Authenticity is your superpower." So I sat up, knees pulled to my chest, and let it tumble out. "His name's Riley. He's a guy, and I like him. A lot." Silence stretched, thick as the kudzu vines choking the campus oaks. Ben's face went blank, then twisted, hurt, confusion, something darker. "Jesus, Alex. A guy? Here? With the team? You trying to get us both run out of town?" "It's not like that," I snapped, defensiveness rising like bile. "I'm not parading it, but I can't pretend anymore." He sat up too, mirroring me like we were kids fighting over toys. "Pretend? That's rich coming from you. You've always been the dreamer, the one who doesn't get how the world works. Dad would disown you. Coach would bench you for life. And me? I'd be the punchline. The straight twin with the queer brother dragging him down." His words landed like slaps, each one echoing the team's jabs. I felt the old fracture lines cracking wider. "So what, Ben? You gonna pretend you don't love me anymore because I love differently?" He deflated, rubbing his face with both hands. "I do love you, dumbass. You're my other half. But it's gonna complicate everything." He punched my arm lightly, the gesture forced. "Just be careful, okay? Don't make me choose." I nodded, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Over the next weeks, as Riley and I fell deeper, stolen kisses in the Arboretum, late-night drives to Birmingham for underground queer open mics, Ben pulled away. He'd come back from practice reeking of sweat and silence, collapsing into bed without a word. The team amped up too. Jax cornered me in the weight room one afternoon, spotting my bench press with a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Heard you're batting for the other team, Hale. That true? Or are you just jealous of your brother's game? I froze mid-rep, barbell trembling above my chest. What the hell, Jax? He leaned in, breath hot and minty. Word gets around. Saw you with that camera nerd at the river. Keep that shit off campus, yeah? We got standards. He racked the weight for me, harder than necessary, and walked off laughing. Ben was across the room, spotting Trey, but his eyes flicked to me. Guilty, averted quick. Betrayal simmered, but I swallowed it for the games. The season opener against Auburn was electric. The arena a sea of crimson and white, bass drums thundering like heartbeats. Ben was a beast, 30 points, assists like silk threads weaving the offense. The crowd chanted, "Hail! Hail!" And I joined in from the bench, pride swelling despite the ache. When we won by 15, the locker room erupted. Gatorade showers, backslaps, Coach Harlan hoisting the game ball to Ben like it was the NBA Finals trophy. "This man's a legend," he roared. Jax draped an arm around Ben's shoulders, whispering something that made him laugh. Real, unguarded. Me? I got a nod from the assistant coach. "Good hustle out there, kid." As if warming up counted. Riley was waiting outside, leaning against his beat-up Honda Civic, camera in hand. "You were amazing," he said, pulling me into a hug that smelled like home. We drove to his off-campus apartment, a third-floor walk-up with posters of indie films and a balcony overlooking the train tracks. That night, we cooked spaghetti, burnt the sauce, laughed about it, and curled up on his couch watching moonlight, the screen's glow painting our faces in blues and golds. His head on my shoulder, fingers interlaced. I whispered, "I think I'm falling for you." He tilted up, eyes soft. "Good, because I already have." It was perfect, fragile as spun sugar. But perfection in Alabama comes with thorns. The next practice, things escalated. We were running suicides, sprints until your lungs burned. When Trey tripped me mid-stride, his foot hooking my ankle like it was accidental. I went down hard, skin scraping the court, blood welling in a gravelly rash on my knee. The team hooted, coach barking, "Get up! Hail! This ain't yoga class." Ben jogged over, offering a hand, but his grip was limp, eyes darting to Jax, who mouthed faggot behind the coach's back. I yanked away, standing on my own. "I'm fine," I growled, but inside, something snapped. That night, I confronted Ben in the dorm, door slammed shut against the hallway din. "You gonna let them do this? Your own brother." He paced, jersey still on, sweat drying flaky on his skin. "What do you want me to do, Alex? Start a fight? For what, your boyfriend?" "Riley's not." I stopped, fists clenched. "It's you. You're letting them turn you against me." "I'm protecting us," he shouted, voice cracking. "You think I want this?" The whispers, the looks. Coach pulled me aside today, asked if you were distracted, said it could tank the season. So I'm the problem now? Tears burned, hot and unbidden. The weak one holding you back. Ben stopped, face crumpling. He reached for me, but I flinched. "Alex, please. We're twins. Blood. I love you, man. But this gay shit, it's not our world." "Not your world," I echoed, the words a knife twist. "But it's mine." I grabbed my keys, stormed out into the rain-slick night, thunder rumbling like the gods' disapproval. Riley's place was sanctuary, his arms wrapping around me as I sobbed on his kitchen floor, the linoleum cold against my cheek. "He'll come around," Riley murmured, stroking my hair. "Family always does. But family has secrets too." The following week, as the team geared up for the LSU rivalry game, I threw myself into Riley's world, helping him edit footage for his thesis doc on Southern queer resilience. Nights tangled in his sheets, bodies close but chaste, learning each other's rhythms like a slow dance. Ben texted apologies, vague and sporadic. Sorry bro. Let's talk. I ignored them, the hurt too raw. Then the scandal hit like a fast break. It was Thursday, 2 days before LSU, and I was in the student union grabbing coffee when my phone buzzed. A group chat from the team exploding with screenshots. Anonymous texts, leaked from some burner account. Grainy photos of Ben, unmistakable even in shadow, locked in an embrace with a guy in the back of a frat house bathroom. The messages were explicit, not acts but implications. Who's the real Hale now? Straight twin my ass. Laughter emojis. Fire. Shock. Coach Harlan's name popped up. Team meeting now. All hands. Chaos. I bolted to the Coliseum, heart slamming. The rain turning to sleet that stung like accusations. The locker room was a pressure cooker. Guys milling, voices low and furious. Ben nowhere in sight. Jax paced like a caged bull. Phone clutched white-knuckled. This is bullshit. Fake news. Ben's one of us. Trey snorted. One of us? Sucking face with dudes? Nah. Coach burst in, face purple as a storm cloud. Shut it. Where's Hale? The door swung open then. Ben stumbling through, soaked and hollow-eyed. Coach's assistant trailing like a bad omen. He looked at me. Really looked, for the first time in weeks, and the twin bond hummed, a desperate Morse code. Help. But I was frozen, the pieces slotting into place. The late nights he claimed were scouting film. The flinches at my stories with Riley. The rage that masked fear. My straight twin, the adored one, was just as broken as me. The meeting dissolved into shouts. Accusations flying like errant passes. Coach tried to corral it. This doesn't leave this room. We're family here. But families fracture. Jax lunged at Ben, fist cocked, until Trey hauled him back. Ben stood there, chin up, but his voice when he spoke was a whisper shout. It's true. Okay, it's true. I've been lying, to you, to myself, to everyone. But I'm done. Silence, then the dam broke. Insults hurled. Freak. Traitor. Guys who'd slapped his back now backed away, like his touch could taint them. Pushed through, grabbing his arm. Ben. He shook me off, eyes blazing. Don't. You warned me. Said it would complicate everything. And it did. But there was no venom left. Just exhaustion. The kind that comes from carrying a mask too long. Coach cleared his throat, voice gruff. Son, this team's about heart. You got heart. But the programs. Delicate. Sponsors. Fans. Sit this one out. We'll talk. Ben nodded, defeated, and walked out. The team scattered, leaving me in the echo of slamming lockers. Outside, I found him on the loading dock, chain-smoking camels he bummed from God knows where, the sleet melting on his lashes. How long? I asked, sliding down beside him, our shoulders touching for the first time in forever. Since high school, he admitted, exhaling smoke like confession. That guy from youth group? The one Dad hated? It was me who kissed him first. Buried it deep after you came out in your head. Thought if I stayed straight, I could protect us both. I laughed, bitter and broken. Protect us? You let them call me weak while you played hero. I know. His voice cracked. I hated myself every time. Jax, it was him in the photo. We've been hooking up since pledges. He leaked it to shut me up when I said we should stop. Betrayal's double-edged, Jax, the bully, Ben's secret. My chest ached for him, for us. Why tell me now? Because you're right. Authenticity. And because I love you, Alex. Not just as a brother. As the only one who gets it. We sat there till dawn. Sleet turning to mist. The river's distant rush a lullaby. Riley picked me up at sunrise. His car a warm bubble against the cold. Ben came too, uninvited but needed. The three of us silent on the drive to his place. Over coffee. Black and scalding. Ben spilled it all. The fear, the shame, the stolen moments that tasted like ash. Riley filmed none of it, just listened. His hand steady on mine under the table. The LSU game came and went without US. Alabama won, But the buzz was off. Reporters sniffing around the hail drama. Admins issuing vague statements about personal matters. The team fractured. Some rallied to Ben quietly, slipping notes in his locker, "We're with you." Others ghosted, their absences louder than slurs. Jax got benched for attitude. His glare across the court a promise of payback. For me, the climax built slow, a storm front rolling in. Riley's thesis screening was that Friday. A packed auditorium in the Department of Theater and Dance, fairy lights strung like hope. Ben showed, clean-shaven, in a button-down that hung loose on his frame, sitting beside me in the back row. The film unspooled. Vignettes of queer Southerners, raw and unflinching. A trans trucker in Mississippi, a lesbian couple fighting eviction in Atlanta. Me skipping stones by the river, voiceover confessing, we carry the weight of two worlds, but in the quiet, we find our light. When my segment hit, Ben squeezed my hand, knuckles white. After, amid applause and hugs, Jax appeared at the door. Uninvited, eyes bloodshot, reeking of whiskey. "Nice show, freaks," he slurred, voice carrying over the chatter. Heads turned. "Ben, you gonna stand there holding your brother's hand like some pansy or man up?" Ben stood, slow and sure, the old fire flickering back. "I'm standing right here, Jax. And yeah, holding his hand. Because he's stronger than you'll ever be." Jax laughed, ugly and wet. "Strong? He's a joke. And you betrayed us all." The room tensed, Riley stepping forward, camera raised like a shield. But I moved first, chest out, voice steady. "Betrayal? That's you leaking photos to save your ass. We know, Jax. Everyone does." Gasps rippled. Jax's face drained white, then red. He swung wild, a haymaker aimed at Ben, but I caught his wrist, twisting like coach taught in drills. We grappled, a blur of limbs and grunts, until security hauled him off, bellowing curses that echoed down the hall. In the aftermath, bruised but unbroken, Ben pulled me aside in the green room, mirrors fogged from the crowd's heat. "You saved me," he said, hugging me fierce, the twin bond sealing anew. "No," I whispered. "We saved each other." The ending came gentle, humanistic in its quiet grace. Spring thawed Alabama slow, dogwoods blooming pink against the red clay. Ben came out publicly, a halting interview with the campus paper, "I'm gay, and I'm still your point guard." The team splintered further, but a core stayed, Trey organizing ally trainings, Coach Harlan muttering, "Heart's heart, boys, play like it." Sponsors pulled back, scouts whispered doubts, but Ben averaged a double-double, his game sharper, unburdened. Riley and I deepened, road trips to New Orleans pride, his camera capturing our lazy Sundays in bed, reading Vonnegut aloud. Ben found his own rhythm, dating a med student named Theo, their double dates filled with laughter that healed old wounds. Graduation loomed, caps and gowns a blur of possibility. On the eve, the three of us, me, Ben, Riley, drove to the river, same spot as that first picnic. Fireflies danced, the water silver under moonlight. Ben raised a beer. To secrets emerged, and twins who endure. We clinked, the sound pure. I leaned into Riley, Ben's arm around my shoulders, and for once, the South felt vast enough for all of us. Flawed, fierce, finally free. The summer after that screening felt like a fever dream, the kind where wounds scab over but itch with every scratch. We didn't go home to Mobile. Too many ghosts in the magnolias, Dad's garage full of half-fixed cars and unspoken judgments. Instead, Ben and I sublet a shotgun house in Birmingham, a creaky Victorian with peeling blue paint and a porch swing that creaked like confessions. Riley crashed most nights, his sleeping bag unrolled on the living room floor amid stacks of film reels and Ben's dog-eared playbooks. It was our bubble, fragile and fizzy, three misfits remaking family from the scraps. Mornings were for coffee on the porch, the city waking slow under a haze of humidity. Ben would lace up his Nikes first, dragging us to the park for pickup games. Not official team stuff, just locals with tattoos and attitudes, testing his resolve. I'd guard him sometimes, our feet sinking like old times, but now with eyes that saw each other clear. You're telegraphing your pump fake. I'd tease, stealing the ball clean. He'd grin, sweat beading on his brow. And you're still soft on the drive. Some things don't change. Riley filmed it all, his lens a quiet witness. This is gold, he'd say, reviewing footage on his laptop, the screen casting blue ghosts on our faces. His thesis had screened to raves, professors calling it a poignant dissection of hidden Southern souls. And suddenly, doors cracked open. Indie festivals in Austin, a grant from some queer arts foundation in Atlanta. But success bred shadows. Riley's ex from California started demanding, oily compliments laced with "I miss us," and Ben's phone buzzed with hate mail from anonymous alums. Pervert. Ruining the tide. We leaned on each other. Nights we'd pile onto the sagging couch, passing a joint. Riley's contraband from a road trip. While Ben recounted team lore, the pressure of being the straight savior now flipped to villain. Coach called me in, he said one evening, voice low as cicadas hummed outside. Said the boosters are twitchy. Might redshirt me next fall if the distractions don't fade. My gut twisted. Screw them. You're all SEC material. Ben shrugged, eyes distant. Maybe. But what if I'm not? What if this me costs everything? Riley set the joint in an ashtray shaped like a rooster scooting closer. Then you build something new. Film's teaching me that every cut reveals the truth. Ben met his gaze, something softening. You're all right, camera boy. For a Cali pretty boy. Laughter broke the tension. But it lingered. That fear of loss. For me, the romance with Riley bloomed tender. Walks through the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. Hands brushing in the exhibits on hidden struggles. Our kisses deepening under the oaks of Kelly Ingram Park, where hoses once blasted dreamers. He was my anchor, steady amid the swells, but doubt whispered. Can this last? A filmmaker and a benchwarmer, twins tangled in the crossfire. The betrayal's aftershocks hit mid-July, scorching as the asphalt. Jax got suspended from the team. Official word was conduct unbecoming. But whispers said it was the leak, the punch thrown at the screening. He vanished from campus, but Birmingham's small. One sticky afternoon, Ben's phone pinged with a text from an unknown number. Meet me. Last chance. G. We debated it on the porch, sweet tea sweating in our glasses. Don't, I said, pulse racing. He's poison. Ben's jaw set, that stubborn hail streak. I need closure. For me. Riley nodded reluctant. Take backup. Film it. So we did. The meet was at Railroad Park, twilight gilding the fountains, families picnicking on the grass. Jax waited by the carousel, leaner than before, shadows under his eyes like bruises. He spotted Ben, straightened, but his smirk faltered when he saw us trailing. Me with fists balled, Riley with camera rolling discreet. Back up, huh? Jax sneered, but his voice wobbled. Knew you couldn't face me alone, Hale. Ben stopped feet away, arms crossed. Say your piece. Then we're done. Jax glanced around, voice dropping. I did it for us. You were pulling away, talking about coming out like some martyr. Panicked. Leaked it to. Force your hand. Make you choose. Choose you. Ben's laugh was sharp. You used me, Jax. Like a secret to keep your straight cred intact. Jax flinched, stepping closer, desperate. It wasn't like that. Cared. About you. About the team. This shit. It's eating me alive. The admission hung, raw. Riley's camera words soft, capturing Jax's crack. The bully unmasked, just a scared kid from the sticks, same as us. I wanted to hate him, but pity stirred, humanistic and unwelcome. Too late, Ben said, voice steady but kind. You hurt people. My brother. Me. Heal yourself, man. But stay gone. Jax nodded, deflated, and walked into the dusk, shoulders slumped. We didn't call security. Some wounds close quiet. That night, the house felt lighter, like exhaling after a held breath. Riley edited the footage into a short, unmasked, screening it for us over pizza, the carousel's lights blurring in the frame. Redemption arcs are messy, he said. But real. Ben raised his slice. to messy. Summer waned, fall creeping in with crisp edges. We returned to Tuscaloosa tanned and scarred, the dorm waiting like an old friend. Posters faded, beds still pushed close. The team greeted Ben wary. Handshakes firmer from allies, cold shoulders from holdouts. Coach pulled him aside post-practice. "You're starting Saturday. Showing harchi." Ben did, dropping 22 against Georgia, his step lighter, assists feeding Trey like olive branches. For me, the bench stayed home, but I found my court elsewhere. The LGBTQ Center bloomed under new funding, and I co-led a support group for athlete allies, stories spilling like rain. A soccer girl from Auburn, a wrestler hiding bruises from his coach's jokes. Riley documented it, his lens weaving our lives into something larger. But conflict simmered beneath. Dad called mid-October, voice gravel over the line. "Heard about your brother. Church is praying. Come home, son. Fix this. Fix." As if love was a carburetor to tweak. I hung up, chest tight, and drove to Riley's, the wipers slashing rain. He pulled me inside, towel drying my hair as I vented. "They want us erased." He cupped my face, thumbs gentle. "Then we write louder." Our love deepened there, emotional layers peeling back. Nights tracing tattoos, his a wave on his ribcage, mine a hidden rainbow on my ankle, sharing fears of forever. "What if the world's too big for us?" I whispered once, stars pricking the ceiling. "Then we make our own corner," he replied, kiss sealing it. Ben's secret fully emerged at the Vanderbilt game, a night game under floodlights that turned the court to silver. Halftime, score tight, he fouled out. Elbow to a ref's whistle, frustration boiling over. In the tunnel, I found him slamming lockers, face streaked. "I can't do this," he gasped. "The pressure. It's crushing me." I hugged him, jerseys sticking. "You already are. Just breathe." He pulled back, eyes searching. "What if I quit? For real?" The thought terrified, our twin path forked. But growth demands it. Then quit. Be Ben, not the Hale. He started the second half anyway, sinking a buzzer beater to win, the arena erupting. Post-game, reporters swarmed. "Ben, how's it feel, coming out and still bawling?" He grinned, arm around me. "Feels like home." Winter brought climax's chill. Jax resurfaced. Expelled, but vengeful. Posting deepfakes online. Doctored clips of Ben and me, twisted to imply worse. The team imploded. Death threats flooded Ben's inbox. Coach suspending practices for sensitivity training. Riley's doc caught fire. Viral on TikTok, celebs sharing. But trolls doxed him, slashing tires on his Civic. We holed up, a fortress of 3. One blizzard night, power out, candles flickering. Ben cracked. "I started it all. My lie poisoned us." "No," Riley said, voice firm. "Fear did, and we're fighting it." The turning point. A rally on the quad, organized by the center, hundreds braving sleet, signs reading love wins in crimson. Ben spoke first, voice amplified. "They called my brother weak, but he's the strongest man I know." Applause thundered. Jax's fakes debunked live, his account suspended. Spring renewal followed. Ben declared for the draft, mid-round projections. Scouts praising his resilience narrative. Riley's film premiered at Sundance Proxy. Offers pouring. Me? I applied to grad school in social work, Riley's hand in mine at interviews. Post-ceremony, by the river again, beers cracked, Riley filming one last take. "To emerged," Ben toasted. "To us?" I added, Riley's lips on mine. The camera clicked off. Secrets buried, truths risen, we were free. The draft lottery in Chicago was a circus of suits and spotlights. The United Center humming with the electricity of futures forged in 15-second calls. Ben and I flew up economy, squeezed shoulder to shoulder, his knee bouncing like a piston against mine. "What if it's last?" he muttered, staring out at the Midwest flatlands blurring below. "Or worse, what if it's first and I choke?" I squeezed his hand, twin code for breathe. "You'll ball wherever. And hey, worst case, we crash on Riley's couch in LA." He chuckled, but the fear clung, sticky as the Alabama heat we'd left behind. Riley stayed stateside, editing his next project. A follow-up doc on athlete coming-outs, Ben's story The Spine. But he'd wired flowers to our hotel. Sunflowers, bold and unapologetic, with a note, "Shine for me. Love, your director." The green room pre-draft was a pressure cooker. Agents pacing, parents whispering prayers, undercard hopefuls like Ben cracking jokes to mask nerves. He looked sharp, tailored blazer over a tied tee, hair gelled just so. But his eyes darted, seeking escape. A scout from the Knicks pulled him aside. "Kid, your stats pop, but the off-court noise, it's a risk." Ben's smile tightened. "Noise fades. Game doesn't." I hovered, invisible wingman, until a producer from ESPN spotted me. "You the brother? The one from the film." Fame's weird ripple. Riley's doc had netted a Hulu deal, turning our quiet chaos into binge-watch fodder. Suddenly, I was Alex Hale, the resilient twin, fielding interview requests I dodged like bad passes. The lottery ball spun, numbers flashing, 14. Charlotte Bobcats, now Hornets, on the board. Ben's name lit up mid-second round, just after a Kentucky big man. The arena erupted. He stood, hugging me fierce, tears pricking. "We did it," he whispered, before striding to the stage. Cap donned, commissioner's handshake firm. Post-presser, champagne and plastic flutes. Ben fielded the softball questions. "How's it feel?" "Surreal." But the edge crept in. A reporter from some conservative sports blog. Mike thrust forward. "Ben, you're coming out. Does it hurt your marketability? Fans in the Bible Belt buy tickets to see winners, not activists." The room stilled. Ben's jaw ticked, but he leaned in, voice even. "Fans buy tickets to see heart. And I've got plenty. Next to my brother and my boyfriend. This is easy." Boyfriend. Theo, the med student, grinned from the family section, pride beaming. The reporter blinked, session wrapping awkward. Back at the hotel, Ben collapsed on the bed, tie loosened. "Think I burned a bridge?" "Nah," I said, cracking sodas from the mini-fridge. "You built one. For guys like us." He pulled me into a headlock, noogies turning to laughter. "What about you, Mr. Grad School? Social work in Boston? Leaving the South?" The question hung. I'd gotten into Simmons, full ride, starting fall, urban focus, queer youth advocacy. Riley was eyeing UCLA for his MFA, the pull west strong. Ben to Charlotte, Theo finishing residency in Raleigh. Our bubble, once Birmingham tight, stretched thin. "It's right," I said, but doubt nagged. Change was the humanistic truth. Growth means goodbye. Riley flew in next morning, surprise edition, tackling me at baggage claim with kisses that tasted like airport pretzels. "Proud of your superstar," he murmured. Then to Ben, "Room for one more on the brotherly throne?" We toured the city. Deep dish pizza in Wrigleyville, wind off Lake Michigan whipping our jackets. That night, rooftop bar overlooking the skyline. Cocktails glowing amber. Ben raised a glass. To forks in the road. We clinked, but the fork pricked. 2 weeks later, back in Tuscaloosa for move-out, Dad arrived unannounced. F-150 rumbling up the dorm drive. Mom trailing hesitant. He'd aged. Salt in his beard, lines deeper from factory shifts. "Boys," he grunted, unloading boxes like peace offerings. Awkward lunch at Dreamland Barbecue, ribs sticky and silent. Mom chattered weather, but Dad's eyes fixed on Ben. Saw the draft. "Proud, son. Real proud." Ben nodded, sauce on his chin. "Thanks, Dad." Then quieter. "And the other, the coming out." Church groups split. Some praying, some not. Air thickened. I braced, but Dad sighed, forking coleslaw. "Your ma and me, we talked. Read that film your friends got. Ain't easy, but you're our boys. Always." It wasn't absolution, humanity's messy, but it was bridge mending. Hugs goodbye. Tentative, his hand lingering on my shoulder. "You too, Alex. Boston. Huh? Make us Hales count." Fall unpacked in boxes. Simmons dorm's crisp New England, leaves turning fire red. Riley drove me up, U-Haul rattling, our last southern road trip. We detoured D.C., Smithsonian Queers in History exhibit, hands linked shameless. "This is us," he said, pointing to a photo of Stonewall vets. Echoes. Boston embraced me rough. Blizzards burying the Charles. Classes dissecting trauma like dissections. I thrived, though, group therapy circles where kids like me spilled, healing in shares. Ben texted highlights. Hornets Summer League. Theo's ring from med school. Miss you, twin. Kill it. Riley settled LA glamour grit. Palm trees and pitch meetings. His follow-up greenlit by Netflix. Calls turned sporadic. Time zones, exhaustion. But love held. Texts laced with soon and hard emojis. Conflict brewed Thanksgiving. I flew Charlotte. Ben's rookie pad a sleek condo with Theo's scrubs drying on the balcony. Family dinner. Dad carving turkey. Mom's pie bubbling. Ben and I trading eye rolls across the table like old times. But post-feast, beers on the deck. Dad cornered me. "Heard you're datin' that boy still. Serious?" "Yeah," I said. Fog from breath clouds. "Serious?" He nodded slow. "Good. Just don't let it define you. You're a hale. Strong stock." The backhand, "don't let it define," stung. But I swallowed. Progress, not perfection. Riley joined for Christmas, Boston brownstones twinkling. We skated the frog pond, his gloved hand warm in mine, cocoa steaming after. But whispers grew, his agent pushing the brand, mine urging fieldwork abroad. "What if we drift?" I voiced one night, sheets tangled. He traced my jaw. "Then we anchor harder." Winter thawed to spring, climax cresting subtle. Ben's rookie year hit bumps. Bench spells amid chemistry issues. Whispers of his orientation tanking locker room trust. A Sports Illustrated profile dropped bombs. The Gaygunner. Can Hale shoot straight in the NBA? Trolls amplified. Trade rumors swirling. He called me hammered. 2 a.m. his time. "They want me gone, Alex. Like I'm defective." "You're not." I growled, heart aching. "Fight." He did press conference raw. Tears held. "I'm here to hoop. Love who I love. Deal." The league rallied reluctant. Glad spots, ally jerseys selling. But personal toll mounted. Theo proposed amid it, ring simple gold. Ben accepted, but confided later. "Scared I'll ruin him too." Humanity's core, love's risk. My own storm. Simmons fieldwork in Roxbury mentoring queer teens. One kid, Jamal, 16 and kicked out, sleeping in alleys. I poured in, but burnout loomed. Riley's visits dwindling to weekends. One April call. Static crackled. Got an offer. Doc in Tokyo, 3 months. Career maker. Joy spiked, then dread. Go. I'll hold. But holding frayed. Ben's wedding loomed June, Raleigh courthouse simple. I flew down, best man duties light. Rings exchanged under oaks, Theo's vows steady. Reception backyard. Fairy lights and fiddles. Dad toasting awkward. To love. All kinds. Riley Skyped in, but the lag mirrored us, delayed, distant. The betrayal, self-inflicted, hit post-honeymoon. Ben texted, "Need you. Now." I booked red-eye, landing Charlotte dawn, cab to the condo. He met me at the door, hollowed, Theo gone. Bags packed. What happened? I demanded, coffee brewing frantic. Ben sank to the couch, head in hands. I pushed. Too hard, too fast. After the profile, I froze, intimacy, all of it. He said I wasn't all in. Guilt knifed. My fault? For pushing you out? No. He looked up, eyes red. Mine. For half loving. We talked dawn to dusk. Truths emerging. His bisexuality fluid. Team's microaggressions grinding. Theo returned evening, talk stretching, forgiveness tentative, therapy cued. Riley landed next day, surprise again. Heard the SOS. We four-hashed it, boundaries, communication, love's work. Climax peaked that summer solstice, backyard bonfire. Ben and Theo recommitted, rings readjusted. Riley and I, watching flames, whispered plans. Tokyo together, my sabbatical aligning. Scared? He asked. Terrified? I admitted. But alive. Humanistic close. Not flawless, but forward. Ben's second season soared, starter minutes. Pride flag in locker. Dad visited sets, Mom baked for crews. We scattered Charlotte, Tokyo, Boston, but twins thread held. Calls weekly, visits plotted. One Tokyo night, cherry blossoms falling like confetti. Riley proposed under lanterns. Build worlds with me? Yes. I breathed, ring slipping on. Secrets emerged, we endured. Tokyo's neon pulse was a baptism by overload. Skyscrapers stabbing the sky like chrome spears. Salarymen blurring past in gray suits. The air thick with ramen steam and exhaust. Riley and I landed jet-lagged into summer swelter. Our tiny Shibuya apartment a shoebox miracle. Tatami mats, futon wedged corner, his camera gear spilling like creative entrails. Home, he declared, unpacking gyoza from a konbini bag, kissing me amid the chaos. But home felt borrowed, a 3-month visa stamped temporary as our doubts. My sabbatical from Simmons freed me for cultural immersion. But really, it was Riley's doc, a portrait of Japan's underground queer scene. Izakaya's hiding drag shows, rainbow flags fluttering discreet in Harajuku alleys. I tagged along, note-taking for my thesis on global youth resilience, but the distance gnawed. Ben's texts from Charlotte training camp missed the twin vibe. Kill Tokyo, laced with emojis masking his grind. First weeks were honeymoon haze. We biked Yoyogi Park, cherry blossoms reluctant holdouts, picnicking bento under torii gates. Nights, Shibuya crossing a pedestrian river, hands linked defiant amid the throng. Riley filmed everything, street performers in glittering gowns. A trans elder recounting post-war purges. His passion electric, eyes alight behind the lens. You're my muse, he'd say, capturing me at a Tsukiji market stall. Fish scales glinting on my fingers. Our love deepened intimate. Onsen soaks in Hakone, steam veiling our bodies, whispers tracing scars. No rush, just presence. His head on my chest, heartbeat sinking to distant train rumbles. But conflict brewed subtle, cultural chasms widening. Japan's politeness masked undercurrents. At a Shinjuku bar, hosts eyed us curious. One murmuring gaijin with a smile that didn't warm. Riley's crew, local activists, fierce and chain-smoking, welcomed me, but language barriers frustrated. My Duolingo Japanese crumbling under rapid-fire kanji, leaving me outsider, observer. You're holding back, Riley noted one evening, sake cups clinking in our flat. Rain pattered the paper screens. Just adjusting, I lied, chopsticks poking rice. Truth. Homesickness for Ben's laugh, Dad's gruff calls, the South's messy warmth. Tokyo gleamed, but cold, efficient, not embracing. Ben's crisis call came mid-filming, a Utenji temple shoot. My phone buzzed mid-take. 911. Call now. Heart lurching. I ducked behind a stone lantern. Dialing. Ben. Alex. His voice wrecked. Echoey. Locker room? Trade rumors. To Toronto. Theo's job's here. If I go. Wait it out. I urged. Cherry petals swirling like warnings. Talk to him. I did. He says follow the dream. But what if the dream's us? Twin ache. His fork. My guilt for oceans away. Fly out. We'll figure. He didn't. Season started. Hornets faithful chanting despite dips. I threw into work. Volunteering at a Shinjuku youth center. Kids like Jamal but quieter. Stories of family silence. School whispers. One boy, Haruto, 14 and androgynous, sketched mangas of hidden loves. We bonded over panels. My encouragement clumsy but earnest. Riley noticed my drift. You're glowing there. More than with me. Not more. I protested, but seed planted. Our nights cooled, arguments over edit cuts, my jet lag excuses for early beds. You're pulling away, he accused, camera idle on the table. You're buried in footage, I shot back. When's the last time we just talked? The fight simmered, unspoken apology in a Kyoto day trip. Golden pavilion mirrored in koi ponds, hands brushing forgiveness. But betrayal loomed, self-sabotage's cruel twist. October typhoon hit, winds howling like banshees, trains halted. Hold in the flat, power flickering, Riley's laptop died mid-render. Panic flared, deadline looming, festival submission tight. Fuck! He yelled, hurling a pillow. This is it, my shot. I reached, but he shrugged off. You don't get it. This isn't some feel-good group. It's survival. Words landed wrong. And my work? Those kids? That's not survival. Eyes met, storms brewing. You're safe here. I'm bleeding for this. The slap, metaphorical, echoed. I grabbed coat, stormed into rain-lashed streets, typhoon whipping. Shibuya empty, neon blurred halos. I wandered aimless, soaked to bone. Phone buzzed, Ben. Heard about the storm. You okay? Texted back, drowning. His reply instant. Call Riley. Loves the umbrella. Cliché but true. I turned back, puddles splashing accusations. Apartment door ajar, Riley pacing, face ashen. Alex, God, where? Needed air. I stripped wet layers, shivering. He wrapped me in yukata, tea steaming. I'm scared, he admitted, voice small. This project's me, but losing you, that's everything. We talked till dawn, typhoon easing to drizzle, fears unpacked. His abandonment ghosts from the ex, my twin loss echo. We're co-stars, I said, fingers lacing. Not solo acts. Renewal followed. He cut my youth center scenes in Haruto's story threading the narrative. We submitted days before deadline, nerves electric. Back stateside Thanksgiving, me to Charlotte, Riley LA layover. Ben's table groaned. Turkey, Theo's vegan hacks, Dad's stories loosening with wine. Japan treat you right? Dad asked, passing rolls. Taught me balance, I said, I to Ben. Post-meal, brothers walk. Neighborhood leaves crunching. He confided rookie woes. Teammate slurs masked as jokes. Therapy unpacking layers. You're pioneering, I said. For every queer kid watching. He hugged sideways. Couldn't without you. Riley joined Christmas Boston, snow blanketing common. Proposals ring glinted under tree lights. We hosted Misfits, Simmons Pals, Center Kids, Feast of Stories, Laughter Healing. Spring bloomed reunions. Ben's all-rookie nod. Press lauding the Hale effect. Riley's doc premiered Tribeca. Standing ovation, Haruto Skyping thanks. I defended thesis, offer from Boston Pride Center. Climax crested June, Ben's charity game. Queer youth tourney, Charlotte arena packed. I flew in, Riley filming. Halftime, Ben mic'd. My brother taught me strengths not solo. Crowd roared. Jax appeared courtside. Rehabbed, humbled, volunteering now. Handshake tentative. Sorry, man. For everything. Ben nodded. Welcome back. Post-game, rooftop party, skyline twinkling. Riley pulled me aside. Marry me? For real. Knees hit rooftop gravel. Yes. Betrayal's ghost? Dad's call next day. Heard the news. Proud. Invite us. Humanism's arc. Forgiveness. Forward. Summer wedding planned. Southern, simple oaks and oceans. Ben best man, Theo officiant. Riley's vows. You emerged my secrets. Let's write the rest. We did. The wedding was pure south. Mobile Gulf breeze carrying salt and jasmine. Oaks draped in Spanish moss like nature's veils. We chose Fairhope, a quirky artist town across the bay. Venue a bluff overlooking the water. White tents billowing, fairy lights strung for dusk magic. Riley wanted indie. Mismatched chairs, wildflower boutonnieres, me, touches of home. Mom's pecan pie, Dad's grill-fired shrimp. Ben insisted rainbow accents subtle. For the kids watching. Prep was whirlwind. Fittings in Birmingham, tails for us. Riley's suit seafoam to match his eyes. Invites hand-stamped with wave motifs. Ben flew in early. Theo wrangling rehearsal dinner. Crawfish boil under stars. Laughter bubbling like the pots. Dad grilled Ben on trades. Raptors cold up there? Ben grinned. Colder than your heart pre-coming out. Dad chuckled, real rumbling. Progress etched in easy jabs. Day of dawned hazy, sun gilding the bay. I paced the bridal suite, ironic, air-conditioned bliss. Bowtie askew, Ben adjusting. Nervous? He teased, mirror reflection twins, faces overlapped. Terrified, I admitted. What if it's too fast? He clapped my shoulder. Love's not a fast break. It's the whole game. His eyes softened. Theo and me, we almost fumbled. But vows? They're the rebound. Theo poked head in. Grooms glowing. Places. Processional. Indie folk guitar. Guests rising. Simmons crew. Center kids like Haruto. Flown in. Beaming. Riley's LA film fam. Jack's even. Quiet corner. Nod exchanged. Riley at altar. Freckles sun-kissed. Green eyes locked as I walked aisle. Ben's arms steady. Vows spilled heartfelt. Mine. You saw my shadows. Filmed my light. I'll carry your lens forever. His. In every frame you're the story. Direct me home. Kiss sealed it. Salt-lipped. Cheers erupting. Bay waves applauding. Reception danced wild. Ben's speech rose-laced. Alex, you stole the hot twin title years ago. Dad's toast gruff. Boys you hails. You teach an old dog new loves. Cake smash. First dance to Ho Hey Riley's pick our Tokyo anthem. Honeymoon. Amalfi whispers. But we chose road. Route 66 Redux. East to west. Reclaiming miles. First stop Nashville. Honky-tonks and heart-to-hearts. Think we'll fight again? Riley asked. Neon reflecting in his beer. Count on it. I laughed. Keeps the plot moving. Years unspooled cinematic. Boston settled us. Brownstone in JP, creaky floors and herb garden. I climbed at Pride Center. Program director, launching athlete ally camps. Ben guest speaking yearly. Riley's doc stacked awards. Oscars whisper, but he chased stories, not statues. Syrian refugees, Appalachian trans elders. Ben's NBA arc peaked. Hornets captaincy. Championship ring 32. MVP whispers. Theo's practice thrived. Kids clinic free for queer families. They adopted twins, ironies wink, naming us godparents. Conflicts came waves. My burnout flare 28. Riley's Tokyo Redux solo, we talked through, stronger. Ben's knee blowout, retirement shadow he coached youth, fire undimmed. Dad softened full, pride flags on the garage, church switched to affirming. 1 December, 10 years post-draft, family converged Charlotte. Our twins toddling, Ben's zooming courtside. Dinner table chaos spills stories. Dad raised glass. To emerged. And enduring. Ben caught my eye, twin spark, we made it. Humanistic coda. No tidy bows, but threads woven. Love's loom imperfect, tapestry rich. Riley and I, porch swing in twilight, his head on shoulder. Best plot twist. You, I whispered. Fade out. Fireflies, forever flickering.